They're actually recording. We're just streaming. Why do you want me to have video drinking coffee? What is
For
this?
social media.
Is it
For
just
making
like
reels.
B-roll? Okay.
Just B-roll, yeah.
Okay.
Not for only sips. Even though that looks like just a dummy website for GoDaddy. Just saying. There is a fetish website waiting to be born.
Yeah. Just little bits.
Like, I'm gonna put myself in an incognito browser after this and like search up to see if that's a thing. Because now I need to know.
This is gonna be the weirdest blog post.
How I learned about only sips and started a club. No. All right. Welcome to Organic Free Range Human Thoughts. I'm Tabitha. That is James. We're sponsored by Bubble. Just joking.
God, I wish.
Just warning, there is some strong language in this podcast. So if you don't like things strong and you prefer things weak, I suggest you take that and go drink, I don't know, sweet tea somewhere and enjoy your life sad and incomplete. But for those of y'all that are still listening,
somebody's got some feelings this morning. I don't know what's going on over there.
I feel like I just insulted everybody that I know that likes sweet tea.
I mean, I had to switch to half and half because I like my feet, but...
whenever it's like, I'm going to have less sugar, I'm going to stop drinking Cokes, I'll switch to sweet tea, and I found out there's like so much more sugar in sweet tea. Oh, yeah. I fucked me up real bad.
I remember my first restaurant gig, like way back in high school, and watching one of the waiters just do like the big like ice scoop of sugar, and it was like 4 of them into like 3 gallons of sweet tea. I was like, this is not good. This is not good for anybody. And then proceeded to drink it, like with reckless abandon. But I was also 15.
To be young, I remember drinking, what was it, like Cokes and coffee mixed together? That was a thing then.
I grimace at that, having like a 6-a-day Red Bull habit for a while.
I just realized I left my coffee in the other room. It'll be a treat for later. Okay, I am really looking forward to this argument, and it came to me on my drive because I was listening to an audiobook, and I learned, 1, we're old. 2, we don't know how things are being done now by the kids.
Absolutely not.
So
I'm utterly out of touch with literally every other human.
Yeah. So I want to talk about LinkedIn. I know we've touched on this many times before, and you and me like butt heads on it every single time. Mm-hmm. We're going to discuss, what is LinkedIn really for? Like, what is...
intellectual masturbation?
Actually, that's what they said it was. No.
Very explicitly. Man, like, it's professional Facebook anymore. I have strong feeling. My conflict in it is not that I ever read anything that anybody posts to it, but well, and certainly not the like self-congratulatory, I helped somebody stop to change a tire, and then it was the hiring manager, and I got the great job. Like, the very obvious fiction. But like when people post, like, oh, I published a paper, I am presenting at this conference, like those are things that I will actually pay attention to and care about in a professional capacity. The number of blog posts I read is very few. But the problem is, like, this is the demographic that generally hires me, and that's why I still put some emphasis on it, is that like there's somebody there who is going to be like, hey, washing machines that one time, that was cool, and brings me on to do some sort of process gig, or wants to chat a couple of times a month just to run through decision making. And so having a presence there is not a nothing thing, at least for my practice.
So it's more of networking for you. Mm-hmm. Like more of a networking aspect.
1,000,000%.
So like whenever you look at like people that have like a bajillion followers on the LinkedIn.
Utterly meaningless. I have several hundred, mostly people I don't know, that were just like, you should be a friend. And I got told at some point that if you don't have, where it's like 500 plus connections, like you're not using it well. So I just like let people be my friend, because who gives a shit?
Back in the day, whenever I was getting career counseling from my college, they were like, if you use LinkedIn and you don't have any followers, people that are looking to hire you are actually going to be like, I'm paraphrasing. They were much more professional whenever they conveyed this information, but they were like, you're a fucking loser and no one will hire you because you're a fucking loser and you have no friends. Yeah. So it has nothing to do with the fact you just spent, shit ton of money on a degree and all your
Yeah.
experience and all that good stuff. You're just a friendless loser
Yeah.
and nobody likes you.
Yeah. No, I mean it's an easy filter, right? We just look at your LinkedIn, see if people. Well, and it's the idea that what you're posting on there is thought leadership. In what
I know.
way are you leading anything? Like everybody gets like a handful of comments, maybe, but mostly they're from like your work mom 3 jobs ago who still thinks that you're great. You know, it's not a meaningful exercise other than to just I don't know. It's like having a website a lot of the time. It's just you got to have something up so that people can find you. At least for me, but then again, like I'm being coached through social media by Tabitha, who is
I
sorting all of this shit out on my behalf. And so, what do I know?
things I don't do is LinkedIn. That's how
No,
changes
all of that
alone
is
on that.
just me. It's just me, which is why there's nothing up there.
That is so 1,000 years ago. I have a friend who
Mm.
we just talked about this on Monday who owns a hair salon. And she told me a story. And of course, this is like, I feel like girl urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I go into this is what I just thought this was like a one-off occurrence.
Sure.
But she was sick of the Tindering. She was sick of all these things, unsuccessful men that lived with their mommies and ugh. So she went on and found herself someone with super successful with a job that she really liked. And because of the things he post about what he liked to do and where he often was on LinkedIn, she began to do the things that he liked and go to the conferences that he went to and insert herself into his life, which sounds a lot more creepy now that I'm saying it out loud.
I'm not sure what the legal definition of stalking is, but I'm pretty sure it's that.
It's like, they always say be careful what you put out there. Like, never post you're on vacation. Because, like, anytime you're posting, like, if you were to watch this and be like, wow, I really like that tiny painting right there. Tabitha's on vacation. I better go steal it. Like,
Yeah.
our entire lives are either stalk us or steal from us. That's all social media is.
Yeah.
You can quote me. No, but she inserts herself into this man's life. They fall in love. They're married now. So, of course, girl urban legend. However, I also know someone who did this via bar of just through Instagram of frequenting the same bars that he happened to go to and dressing like the girls he liked to date. And she's happily not married now, so it did not work out for her.
So the kids are using it for internet dating. There are much more direct ways to do this. Like I'm pretty sure there are sugar dating websites. I'm not saying they're any better than anything. But like there's got to be like a much more direct way to go about this than going to a conference and hoping you bump into somebody.
Well, it's I guess like if you're looking to create a organic experience, but it was in the audiobook where she was super shocked that someone was using LinkedIn to actually talk to other professional workers because she's like, isn't that just a dating website now?
I have certainly heard stories, particularly from women, about men who try to use it that way, much to everyone's disappointment and some really open, angry statements. So,
do tell. You can't just can't give us the sprinkles.
So, like, I've talked to folks who, well, it's like any place where, frankly, one woman posts a picture of themselves, right? It's going to be open to scrutiny and to what are unwanted advances given what LinkedIn is kind of supposed to be, right? Yeah, you may comment on somebody's like Instagram thirst trap in a very different way than you comment on somebody's professional headshot. And frankly, that you're commenting on someone's professional headshot, also a little weird, not gonna lie.
I gotta get on LinkedIn. I gotta see this.
There's some weird shit out there, man. But no, like I've heard that several times. And again, I think this is more indicative of you are a woman on the internet than necessarily an issue with LinkedIn as being a thing. But yeah, the idea that, well, and I guess now there's sort of the rub, right? Like there are certain gendered ways you might be able to go about this. Maybe men are more receptive to something like that than women are, because dudes are socially conditioned to be more receptive to it, or they're just kind of skeezy. I don't know. I also met my partner on the internet, so but it was very explicitly a dating site.
This could have been the best story of all time.
It was LinkedIn.
Actually,
No. When two people who are on call constantly love each want to love someone very much, they go to the internet and they ask OkCupid to help find somebody to talk about Terry Pratchett books with, and the rest is history. So, yeah, that was.
We're actually sponsored by OkCupid, y'all.
I wish anybody out there, dude. I like your kid's baseball team. I'll take any sponsorship we can get,
We're sponsored
unless
by
you're a Nazi.
the Squirrels. The Squirrels Youth Soccer now.
I mean, sure. Let's get your logo up here. Come on, kids.
Yeah.
So I think my sort of curious follow-on question would be for you, woman on internet. How do you deal with this sort of nonsense? Right? Like,
Really mean.
okay.
Like, I will bully you back into your basement. Like, so whenever things go horribly wrong, they go horribly wrong real fast. And I'm not afraid to like screenshot any images that you send and sell them to websites. So you're welcome.
Note to self. No sending pictures of me drinking coffee to Tabitha.
Oh, come on, only sips, guys. Only sips. Right after you invest in Soul Coin. But so I looked up the timeline of the shift of LinkedIn to becoming a dating hack website.
Do it.
Because the kids, the Gen Z. So this happened in 2023. There was this surge in, of course, receiving the non-professional messages. And then it became resume dating in 2024 to now. Because there's this whole other, there's of course the economic part of this. And I feel like this is going to start fights on the internet, but it is proven data that people have simply stopped dating now because it is expensive to date. And you know what's not, people don't say yes to, hey, want to go grab a tall boy in a dark alley because that's what I can afford.
When I dated years and years ago, right, like the price of a pint was the price of a pint, and you could go into a reasonably nice little bar and like have a drink with somebody, and it wasn't going to cost $15. And even living in places where minimum wage is that or higher, the idea of spending an hour of my life to buy somebody a drink is abhorrent in the eyes of God.
Yeah. Like, it is just the amount of people, like, that are just done with it, or they're like, okay, well, this person sucks, but I'm going to stay in this relationship because it's much harder out there. But so with LinkedIn, people are also, 21% of people use the platform to background check what their potential partner is saying about themselves.
Okay. I mean, that feels like normal internet dating, this sort of like profile stalking a little bit, right? Like, this isn't like everybody wants to put their best face forward when you start to see somebody, but like I can definitely see looking somebody up on LinkedIn just to make sure they're an actual human.
Well, it's more in the aspect of like, hi, I'm Tabitha. I'm an executive at Sears, if that's still a company. And you go on LinkedIn and you look me up, and I'm actually an executive assistant. So it's not only, it's like making sure people are not like greatly exaggerating who they actually are.
Yeah, I got my master's degree at the School of Hard Knocks, right?
Oh God. I wish I know several people who have attended Hard Knocks, and it's still, it's so like, it part of me dies every time I see that on a Facebook, and it makes me like, how do you have children?
It's a good school and it's good value for money, but they just don't have like the research presence to really push it into that next level. Plus, their football team is terrible. They just get run over every week. It's awful. It's awful to watch.
The requirement of, because I was really good in high school, y'all. Like, that's how you get on the team.
Watch me throw this football over a mountain. Like, I am all for lived experience as being an important part of what you bring to the table. And you gotta know that, like, the other bit matters too.
Yeah. There is also, like, what was the show? Younger. It has Hillary Duff in it, which exactly, I think me, and I'm the total of all the people who watched that show. But one of the aspects that shows her dating after she got her big dick energy job is what they called it, where she became publisher at the publishing house. And she could not get a date to save her life. So she lied and started saying that she was, like, assistant editor, and then suddenly have a lot of dates. And so I'm like, I wonder if this also also backfires the other way, where if you're a female and you have like a better standing job than your counterparts, people with extremely strong little dick energy, or glass dick energy is what I just learned about. Glass dick energy have their egos shattered and are like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't possibly date her. Look at the LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I am married quite happily. I hope to a physician, right? And I met her when she was in training. Like I was a gainfully employed civil engineer. She was a trainee doctor, right? Like, and she's hot shit, man. Like she's real good at this. She's now internationally recognized as being an expert in the thing, and like it's abnormal in I think the circles that we run in for a female physician to be sort of appropriately matched in terms of at least economics or like a certain bigitude, right? A lot of the men, and this is a dynamic that you work out for yourself, right? I'm not being like, well, they can never choose anything, but there's a reason that a male doctor being married to a female nurse is a dynamic, right? And is kind of a trope. And so yeah, I think that like from my side of the table, it is rarer for a woman to be more economically successful than their partner. And I don't know how much of that it plays in with like the overt aspects of like, do you try to hide success? Do you not? Because again, I got out of the game a long time ago. But I do know that the opposite is fundamentally true. That if you are economically successful as a dude, you get to have a lot more interest than you might otherwise. And what that says about like the interpersonal, well, and like the societal expectations around like gender conformity is its own. What that means in terms of like societal expectations for gender conformity, well, like just to take a step outside what we were just talking about, right? A lot of what I've read about young men sort of dropping out, I guess they're referring to themselves as sigma males now, where like success is unachievable, so why even bother? But there is a very strong public sort of idea that people are only valuable for their economics, right? Like, and yeah, dude, like, you can see that if that's the only media you consume, right? If it's social media, you will absolutely be like, Andrew Tate is a great guy and he's got everything that I ever wanted forever. And now he's in jail because he's a fucking sex trafficking. Don't be like him.
Yeah, that's your first thing. Unfollow,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
unfollow them. Your
Just
life will
unfollow.
be so much better.
If you want a great example of positive masculinity right now, go and find the Reverend Ed Trevors. Just go listen to it. He doesn't do like you can listen to sermons. He is a pastor, but just listen to him talk about like social issues and the value of community, and how good that would feel for you to be involved in something like that. Not necessarily religious, but just out of your fucking house occasionally, and maybe get some reinforcement about how being a human is kind of cool. Come on, dudes. Like, we gotta take care of each other. So,
You're
total
supposed to
tangent.
shamelessly like
Yeah.
talk about yourself there. You should listen to more of me.
I don't give a shit if you listen to me. I do. I would like to be monetized at some point. But where I live in British Columbia is very face focused, right? It is very like everybody's got a really nice car. Everybody lives in a nice house. Everybody, has puts together this image of themselves for the world. And one of the things I did some research on a few years ago was Scottsdale, Arizona. Because I'm down to visit, in fact, to visit Tabitha and our friend Brandy. Uh, but I was really curious because everybody drives these really nice cars and everybody's got these big ass houses. And my genuine interest was like, what is the average debt load per family? And so I'm doing similar math up here because it's kind of the same thing, right? Like people put on the success of it. And if you just look at that very curated version of themselves, yeah, you're going to get sold on this is what success really looks like. To tie back to LinkedIn, right? If you're looking at that as a dating profile and be like, oh, well, he's the SVP at something, something, something. Obviously, he's wildly successful. Like, he may just be really good at golf. And that may be literally the only thing about him.
James has yet to watch Send Help.
Yeah. So, like, you do just get this very tightly curated version of people, right? And that's where, I don't know, there's risk in relationships, right? You got to actually go and meet somebody and have a conversation and if you're feeling economically tenuous, right? If a tall boy in a dark alley is what you can afford, then yeah, like it's gonna feel much riskier because you're putting more of your economics into it, right? When I go and buy a beer for a client, for like a prospective client, it's a beer, right? Cost of doing business. Whereas if it were, somebody I really wanted to impress, that I was taking out for dinner and cocktails, and like, yeah, 15 years ago, that would have been a huge lift for me. Like, that would have been hours, maybe even a full day or so of my life. I remember there was a TV show, Silicon Valley, I think is what it was. But there's a bit where one of the, like, the one that really does, like, code well, right? He's sort of their very senior developer, puts on LinkedIn that he's looking for a job. And immediately all the job offers come flooding in, and there's just like piles of gifts, is like snow drifts in their house now, and like all of this stuff. And eventually he's just like, nah, I'm good. Like, yeah, like if there is that additional expectation, oh hey, I'm all like, in addition to coming out and like having a drink and spending some time, like there's going to be some sort of additional economic whatever about it, then yeah, I can see how people would feel like aiming for that particular sort of relationship would feel more stable, and that a lot of the people that they might interact with on LinkedIn are not going to be on Tinder, I guess is the only one that I know about anymore.
I think they're all wanting to know. I haven't been on a dating app in a very long time, so I don't even know what the cool apps are now. Apparently it's LinkedIn, so maybe that's how I get back in the game. I get a LinkedIn. So now y'all know, if y'all see me on LinkedIn, do not. Yeah, do not do that. So it says here, as of last month, 12% of US workers said they found romance on LinkedIn. Yeah, one in eight. So if you don't have a LinkedIn and you're single,
yeah,
you don't.
I mean, those are not bad odds.
Like, I mean, of course, those are the people looking for romance. So I don't know what like the odds are for people just existing on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
it's probably half a person in a 2,000. Like,
well, and like, what's the statistical distribution of men versus women who are finding what they feel is an appropriate match, and how do the economics skew both of those things? So it's probably very similar to all the rest of them in terms of like, there's like 8 dudes and everybody else is kind of chasing their tail, or just chasing tail, I guess is really what I should have said.
I guess you would have like significantly less photos. I haven't been on LinkedIn in a long time, but I'm assuming less photos of people holding dead animals, which is,
I would hope, unless that's a part of your job, in which case that's an interesting way to filter. I think I've only got the one. It's
like, but yeah, vetting, blue check match to make sure people are verified, shifting boundaries. There's all, like, it is amazing that, I mean, I didn't know if I hadn't been listening to, other than the urban legend of the girl getting married after, I heard this story prior to watching You, where he, stalks women, because this sounds very much, if she so happens to be the mythical creature listening to this, I'm sorry, but it sounds like Joe. It sounds just like stalking. It does sound like stalking, but you're also putting that, if I volunteered at, I don't know, a specific animal shelter and I put out there, how would you meet me? Specific animal shelter.
Yeah. Well, and but I think the other side too is I get some like validation of what's happening. Right. There's relationships require a lot of trust, and like new relationships particularly. And given the prevalence of weird shit that happens to ladies, I'm unsurprised that that's a thing that you would feel interested in doing. I do feel like that's different from scrolling profiles and throwing up pictures of you in like your cute little tennis outfit just to see if anybody will hire you as a girlfriend, I guess is kind of the thing. Do you put the open for work thing on your profile picture? Is that
that would be great. That's how there should be a signal. Like, I'm gonna have to deep dive into
now. This. Is that why I couldn't find any jobs for a while?
Well, there's a whole thing on how LinkedIn is a mass graveyard for ghost jobs.
No, I can definitely. Yeah, I mean, like, you build a tool, you want it to do a thing, people are going to decide what it is, right? OnlyFans started that way. It was supposed to be for bands, and now it's pornography.
I don't think he's crying about it, though.
I mean, they tried to stop it for like a weekend and then realized that they were going to lose, I mean, the vast majority of the people who post on it. And they're like, well, shit, maybe not.
That would be like my moral, but money. Like, I'll have to find the YouTuber that does it, where they like talk about all these horrible movies that are being made. Mm-hmm. And like the reasoning is always, but money.
But money. Yeah. No, we can argue about the morality of capitalism all we want to, but the basic thing is that, like, if you don't have any, life is real hard. And so people do a lot of things to make enough to pay their bills. And that sucks.
I mean, I guess we never signed anything, but former, I don't want to like... I don't want to like name her, but former very high in the pageants of the universe, you could say. She had one of the people that she dated leak her pics. And so she's like, if my pics are out there, I'm going to make money off of it. And then wasn't hurting for money.
Pragmatism that, So, yeah. No, I mean, I don't know what that says about America and culture, but that is a level of pragmatism that's just like, well, if it's going to happen anyway, I might as well get paid for it. Like,
I mean,
lie back and think of England, I guess. I'm not in any way judging her for this, right? Like, this is her decision to make entirely. Well, I think it does speak to a larger societal issue of everything has to be monetized, right? Everything has to be, Yeah,
well, I guess it goes back to if you share something, someone, and I know this circles back to like the shitty thing I said at the very beginning of this, like you send me pics and I'll share it, but those are unsolicited pictures. But sharing someone's private images, fuck you.
There are laws against it.
Fuck you.
For a reason.
Yeah. But it's extremely hard for them to get back, and especially if someone's like a more notable figure, it just draws more and more attention to it. So, and then more and more people are looking at it because they're like, what? She's out and about. I always wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Pageants
the
don't
internet
pay
is forever.
super well. Yeah. So
look, sex work is real work. All of that is true. Yeah. And right, the number of things that we just mentioned that are deeply problematic, if not morally and legally awful, to bring her to the point of making that decision. Yeah, that's just fucks the whole way through.
Yeah, I hope there's a vigilante out there, committing revenge for these women. Just saying. I'm not endorsing violence. I'm just endorsing correctional behavior.
Fair. But yeah, so LinkedIn, apparently, if you're looking for love,
get yourself a LinkedIn.
Yeah. We are sponsored by LinkedIn because we will do anything for money.
Find us at Only Simps. It's everything you know about life and websites, and everything is wrong. Because you're older than Gen Z, you're old. So I just hurt my own feelings.
I'm gonna go take a nap. I feel like I've earned it at this point.
But get out there. Enjoy LinkedIn and find yourself a job or a soulmate.
Yeah.
All at the same platform.
Or a sugar daddy, because apparently that's what that is.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time when you're hopefully not incarcerated.
Yeah. And if you are, spread it around. We do take payment in commissary items. So.
I love ramen.
And my preference is for the honey buns. Later, kids.